the first wireframe that we are going to make is this one. And this one actually came to me like this. All right, it actually came to me like this. So the structure of this is we have three items in the middle, and we have our links at the bottom in the footer, which is centered, and then we have a centered title as well that's at the top of our container. So I had put little red squares there because actually we want to center the title in its own container, like a nav container, which is good both for semantic reasons and for reasons of just ease of styling and reading and going through code. So this is what we would actually want to adjust this wireframe to look like. All right, so here it is. So let's make our website. We want to go into Atom, and we will make a new, I'm going to close all of this because it's getting super confusing. Goodbye. Okay, and we're going to make a new website, and I'm going to save it as lp1.html, so it's page 1 of website L, because the person who sent it to me, their name starts with an L. So we have our HTML structure, and for this we're going to go to assignment number 1 and copy the basic structure. Here it is. Save, and we're going to do the link rel, and I forget how to do this, so okay, so we're going to do this link rel style sheet. Sure, we can call it styles.css, so we'll make a new document and call it styles. Oops, not like that. Save, we'll call it styles.css. Okay, and we have our structure. So this is going to be my research site in the title, and we'll call it my research site over here as well. And this will be our links. So I'm just going to call them link 1, link 2, etc. So link 1, link 2, and we'll make it 4 links since the other website is 4 links. Okay, we have 4 links, and we have our main component here. And now we want to get the rest of the stuff. So first we're going to encapsulate all of this information in a div that we're going to call class equals grid container, since it's going to contain our grid. Okay. And then we are going to divide all of our things by as elements. So we're going to have this h1 also in a div, and we'll call it class item1, maybe like this. And I'm taking this div and item 1 encapsulation off of the W3 Schools tutorials. They all seem to like use divs and classes rather than try to make the H1 itself be a grid item. It's all the things are encapsulated in divs and then given a class. This seems to work fairly easily without hiccups, so I'm just going to go with it to make things easy. Okay, so we're going to have class item 1, then we're going to have item 2, because the wireframe here, if we go back to it, has 3 elements in here, which are text, and then this one is image, and this one is a combination of all those things. So we'll start with the one that has 3 things in it. And then, of course, we have our final, our footer, which is going to be in item 4, I think. Let's see. 1, 2, nope, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we have item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for all our parts. And then we want some lorem ipsum to put inside the divs. I'm just going to copy the description here. So fun fact, I've been using this website since I was in undergrad, like a bajillion years ago, and it hasn't changed at all. Like, it looks exactly the same, which is quite impressive to me. Okay, so here we go. We have all our content, and let's look at it in Firefox. Huzzah! Our content is up. Okay, so in styles.css, oh no, the first thing we want to do is going to be to fix that footer links display. So ULLI display inline. So UL is the unordered list. So we're saying look at the unordered list, and then we're saying look at all the links individually. So there we go. They're all inline. And I don't like those underlines, so we're going to say A, text decoration, none. No more text decoration. And also, we want to make it be centered. I guess we can do the text alignment in the items. Yes. Okay, so let's do our classes now. So this is our collection of HTML semantic tags. So it makes sense that they would be at the top of our CSS. And then we will put the user-defined tags at the bottom. So that's going to be item 1. Can I just copy and paste this? I think I can. Item 2, item 3, item 4, and item 5. Okay. And we're going to use this, oh, let's do the text thing. Text align? Yeah. Oh, it's right up there. Okay. Text align center for the title, and text align center for the links. Yes, okay, great. So that looks a lot like our diagram right here. But this is clearly not doing what we want. So for that, we're going to use this grid area thing that I really like. So let's put in grid container. Nope. Okay, and we're going to define the grid. Oh yeah, first we're going to say display grid, and then we're going to define the grid. Okay, so we have to select grid template areas. So very important, not grid template, but grid template areas. And that's where we define the areas that we're going to have. And what we want is going to be 3 lines. So the header is all the way across the top, and then we're going to have our text info, and then we're going to have footer. I think I'm going to have to name this main 1, 2, 3. I think I have to specify exactly what they are, or they'll end up being one on top of the other. But let's see. Okay, and then we're going to use the grid area attribute to tell these classes now what they are, right? Because if we leave it like this, it's separated. It actually did a pretty good job. Well, maybe, I don't know. it did something that's, you know, in 3 columns, so like that's cool. But we want this to spread all the way across, and we want this to be in 1 line. So not quite there yet. Okay, so we're gonna say, I'm really curious if this is just gonna work. Let's see. I don't think it is, but maybe it is. If we call all of these main, and then this one we're gonna call header, so top, and then footer for the bottom. Yeah, that did not work. So it wrote everything one on top of the other. And it also, like, it looks like it doesn't have the separation of rows that it had before. Okay, so let's see about this. And then this. Huzzah! Okay, so we have now our content just the way it is specified in the drawing, in the wireframe. Finally, maybe we could do something like give it a little space. There we go, just so that it's so the text isn't smushing on top of each other. Okay, so that's the first page. And then for our other pages, we will just do the same thing. So for this page, we actually don't need to use a different template at all. In this case, we would simply replace this div, or instead of having text in this div, we would put an image in this div. So let's look at this. Oh, no. Let's look at this. So here we have LP1. We're going to copy it, make a new file, paste, save, and we'll save this as lp2.html. And here in item 3, instead of having this stuff, we'll do image src equals, and then width. Well, let's see about the width. Let's do this first. doing research, look for an image. Okay, I like this image. Actually, no, this image is way more fun. Okay, so here's our file. So we can say image source equals this. Great, save. And it's already referencing the same style sheet, so we can drag it into Firefox. And here the image is surrounded by our divs. So it's not resizing on its own, which is could be another problem, but we shall address that next week. Okay, so that's great. And now we want to do the same thing for page 3. LP3, but we want to have 4 items. So this is or 4 items in the middle. So this is going to be a little tricky because we're changing here now the class structure. So what we might do is we might say call this grid container something else. So we could say grid container like reading or extra text. So every time we are going to have this layout with 4 columns, oh yeah, not that, 4 columns. So every time we have this layout with 4 columns, that is the container that we'll reference. So now we can go back to styles and we can say grid container 4 columns, oops. And we're going to copy this situation, but we're going to call this main 4. And we're going to give this another header and another footer. Okay. And okay, hit save. All right, and then we are going to also replicate these items, but we have to give them a different name. So we know this is the same. How can we do this? This is a case where I would like change this to title, maybe. Because we use the title the same way on every page. And then I might change this to class of footer, because the footer is the same on every page. So then I would go through here and change the top one to title and the bottom one to footer, so that's LP1. Change the top one to title and the bottom one to footer, so that's LP2. Save. Okay, so now we want to make sure it looks the same, that it still works properly. Great. And now we're going to change this column text situation. So here, maybe I would call it, since we have 4, we could call it 4 column 1, 4 column 2, 4 column 3, and 4 column 4. So that's every time when we have 4. And then here we're going to call it 3 column 1. So this is like when we have 3 columns, that's column 1. This is column 2. And this is column 3. And same here. So great. And then we're just going to have to change that here. Oh, why is it unhappy about that? Is it because I'm starting with a number? Okay, no starting with numbers. Okay, so we have 3. So we're not starting with numbers, and we're going to go through and change these into 3-column. Then I'll change this as well. So this is an LP1, and this is an LP2, because we do have 3 columns here. And then we'll reload, make sure it looks okay. Ooh. Reload and make sure it looks okay. It does. That's great. And then here, I'm just gonna change this to a text. So it's 4-column layout 1, 4-column 2, 3, and 4. And then here in styles, I'm going to put this under our 3-column class. Okay, let's see. And here, I think we can keep, since we're not referencing this, I think we can keep this call the same. So here it says main1. I think we can keep that the same. Okay, so we're going to say 4-column 2 is main2, 4-column 3 is main3, and 4-column 4 is main4. Save. And then let's drag this into Firefox, and we should have 4 columns. Okay, great. Now we are having a non-scaling image, but we shall address that next week.